Hi everyone. In this video I will be now showing you guys how to complete the actual paperwork in the new Kronos tool. So once you finish the first step we just discussed in the first video, which is adding the new applicant or the new employee in My Staffing Pro, the following steps will be now completing the onboarding paperwork. So a few minutes, maybe a couple minutes after you finish completing the first step, adding the applicant on Kronos, you will be receiving an email, and that email will contain the new hire username and password. Just to give you guys a bit of an idea how that looked like, this is the email that you're normally received, um, with the information in here. With here is the username and the temporary password for the new hire. So you guys to know, the structure that we choose for usernames will always be the first letter of the name and the full last name and the last two numbers of the social security. I just mentioned this for you guys to be a little bit mindful when you guys are entering the new hires. I know and notice in My Staffing Pro you guys sometimes use the two names and two last names. Altogether, when you put that in Kronos, that will basically be the base to create the username for this employee. So if you use two last names on the username, you will see the first letter of the name and the two full last names complete, and then the two um, first or last numbers of the social security. So it will be a very long username if you do that. So I will suggest everybody to keep it simple. The first name and the first last name is more than enough. So if you guys are doing it, just once again, it's just for you guys to be mindful and kind of try to keep it simple for yourself on that. So this is my email, the one I received for the test employee that I add in here. So there's different ways that you can obviously access that, and it have to be through Kronos. But if you receive this from your email, or if you're sending this to the applicant for them to complete it themselves, they could log in just clicking in here. It will throw them right in Kronos. I think I opened too. And once they're in there, they will continue putting their username and their temporary password. One thing that I would like to suggest, and I've been doing this on all the exercises I've been doing so far, is in order to try not to log in and log out with my credentials and the employee credentials, I kind of keep myself logged in with my own credentials pretty much all the time. And when I gotta go in and log in as the employee, I try to open a new incognito window. It's something that you don't have to do, but if you don't want to be signing off and signing back in as the employee and do it again, then I suggest to just to open a new incognito window. The only reason why I'm suggesting this is because if you just try to open a new tab and do the employee new login from here, these two tabs will interfere with each other. It had happened to me in the past, doesn't work that well when we do it that way. So the best or ideal way would be signing off completely, logging out completely, or then using an incognito window if you would choose not to log out. For the sake of this exercise, I'm just going to do it from here. I just logged out and I'm going to do it from here. And I'm going to do the temporary password. And once you do it, it's just when you're signing in for the first time, it will ask you for your temporary password again. And then you're going to do a new password. Once again, I also again suggest, oops, it's not letting me do it. Okay. guess I did it wrong. All right. So now I'm going to configure the virtual codes. Basically, it's the same step as you guys went through when you did this for the first time. One other suggestion that I will do is keep the passwords as simple as possible, because the sign, when you're going to sign the paperwork, you in fact do it with the password. So my suggestion again is keeping your password as simple as you can. I am going to be saving in here, and I'm going to send my code by email. And I'm just going to wait for my code. Gonna check if by any chance my email came through. And I think more than one came through. So let's see. I think I pressed it too many times. But I am going to use this. All right. So once we are in, you will see that the employee is missing a few things and it's an error message that is completely expected, because there will be more settings to complete from my end when you guys finish the paperwork, but it will not stop you from completing all the onboarding documents. Um, so you will see in here on this little corner, this will be showing you what is your to-do list. And your to-do list is kind of telling you what are the items that you have pending to complete before everything is processed. So we're going to click in here, and you will see that we have here what is a checklist item. And all this are the paperwork that it needs to be completed in order to um, get the paperwork done. I will, you can choose or click in any of the magnifying glass. It will throw you exactly to the same place and in the order that you need to complete this. So the first one that you will see here on the checklist, as you see, is the step one. And very important, guys, you need to follow this step by step. Don't jump over this step, because then you could miss some important information that you don't want to do that. The first step in here is the new hire information. This is just basically, oh, sorry, I clicked this wrong. This is basically just to confirm that the information that you have put in here is correct. So if you spot any mistakes that you have done, this is the time to fix them. So you will see what will be the name, the last name, the social security, the birthday, all the information in here. And you confirm, or if you have anything else that you want to add in here, like a cell phone, a language, or a secondary email, the gender, let's say this is a male, you want to put that in there. This is the time to do it. Once you confirm this is okay, you need to make the effective date from, again, from today. Every time you see an effective from date, it's always today. That's always, you're going to use today's date. And you're going to submit. It's going to ask you if you're about to submit a HR action, and the answer is yes. And you'll see how everything went now, sort of gray, or more like no longer available for editing. And that's because you basically just sign off that this information is correct. And this step is very important, because this is where the rest of their documents are going to grab the information to kind of pre-populate all the employees' information. So if this is wrong, all the rest of the documents will be wrong as well. Once you're done, you just exit out, and you will see that it's 100% completed right now. All right. So the second step are the conditional hire forms, which is the employment application. Is the same one you guys are used to, is where the work history goes, and the background check authorization form, which is also the same one you guys are used to for the background check initiation. So we're going to just click in here, and you will see all the employee information is again pre-populated. You will see the date in here, and we're going to again do today's date. And here we're going to start completing everything related to the work history. Obviously here has to be the actual work history, but just for the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to um, kind of complete this as non-applicable, just so we can skip to the following one. Okay, once it's done, you're gonna sign it, and the way you sign it will be with the password. Okay, and once it's signed, then you submit, and that's okay. Okay, now we're 50% completed on this stage. And we're going to do the same for the background check. This is basically just checking, making sure all the information is correct. If you have a middle name, this will be the place for you to put it. If there's no middle name, then you can leave it blank and you can continue just to sign it. Okay, so the actual big difference is instead of signing with the name, you sign with a password. And again, you submit. Okay, you go back, and your second portion is 100% complete. Now we continue now with the new hire documents, which is the Form I-9 and the Form W-4. This is just a bit different of the rest of the forms because you actually have to create it. And I will show you guys here how. So once you click in there, you see there's nothing in here because we haven't created a new one, which we'll need to. So we're going to add a new I-9, and we're going to create a new I-9. And once again, all the information will be pre-populated. The only thing that will not be pre-populated and is required will be other names, which if they have nothing, it will be, again, not applicable. And if there's an apartment number, also have to be pointed. If not, it has to be also non-applicable. From there is the same steps you follow in My Staffing Pro. You choose if the person is a citizen, a non-citizen, a permanent resident, an alien authorized to work, and complete the information from there. So just for this exercise, I'm going to say this person is a citizen, and you will see that everything else will kind of be non-applicable from there. On the contrary, if you do this one, you know, all the other ones will kind of open up for you, and so on. But we're just going to keep it simple for the training. So I'm going to choose the person is a U.S. citizen, and the other thing that you have to select if you use a translator or not. In this case, we did not use a translator, and basically those are the only two things that you actually has to complete, with the exception of the other last names or the apartment number. Once that is completed, you will submit the I-9. This is not going to be the part where you do the second portion of the I-9. This is not going to really allow you to do anything. So because this is the employee completing its part, so this part is not going to be the second page will not be completed from this function. So we're going to submit the I-9, and we're going to sign it with our password, and we're going to agree. Okay, and that is a success. I'm going to go back, and now in here it's going to tell you that the employee completed, what is the work authorization, and when it was created. And we go back one more time, and now we will check off ourselves this little portion in here, which will let you know what is the completion so far. So now we're going to go to the form W4, and same as we did the I-9, we're going to add a new withholding form. There is several ones that you might see listed in here, and that will depend on the state that you're working at. Not all the states have a W4, but the vast majority of the states do. So you have to complete both. You have to do the federal one and you have to do the state. In this case, I'm going to start with the federal in here. Once more again, all the information will be pre-populated. All you have to choose from here. If it's a single, married, or married with higher withholdings, I am just going to, once again, keep it simple. It's going to be a single zero. And I am going to now submit. Once again, I am going to sign with my password. One important thing that I would like to mention is all these documents, you will see there is a save button and it will be a submit button. You can save it all day long, but if you don't submit it, the system will not really taking the paperwork. When you submit it, it's when it asks you for the password, and is when you're actually signing off on the document. So be sure to if you save it, it's great if you want to save it because you want to return in the future and continue it. But until you submit it, the paperwork actually doesn't take place in the system. So be sure you submit paperwork. So we're going to add a new one because remember we have a state one hanging in there. And this one is for New Jersey because my candidate is from New Jersey. And I'm going to keep it the same. I'm going to do a single zero, so I'm not going to do much in here. And I am going to submit my withholdings. Once again, I sign up with my password, and this is good to go. So I'm going to go back now. I have 2 W4s completed by the employee. And this is the only section that the system did not kind of check it off for you. You have to check it yourself. But it's the only section. Everything else is checked by the system. Now, the step 4 is all the acknowledgement forms, which is basically all the e-sign forms that you guys are used to. It's the same as my Staffing Pro. It's just kind of looking at it and signing with your password. And we submit. Okay. As you see, once you submit is when it actually check that out for you. So I'm just going to move a little bit pretty quickly out of the following ones. Once it's signed, it will say signed, you submit, and we will continue. So I'm going to try to move a little bit faster through these ones, only because I don't want to do a very long video. So just to let you guys know in here for the handbook, one very cool feature that it's in here is once you sign the handbook, and even before, this is just the acknowledgement page, as you guys may know. But if anybody wants a copy of the handbook or want to see the handbook, or the employee asks you if they can have the handbook, here's the acknowledgement, but over here they can download the actual handbook. It's attached in here, and I will, in a separate video, I will show you guys other ways to get it and find it, so you can instruct the employees where to find the handbook. But in this stage, if the employee is doing this on their own, on their home or their computer, you can tell them, when you're signing the acknowledgement for your handbook, you'll see that there's a link in there to download the handbook, and it's right here in this corner. All right, so I'm gonna move it along. You will see now This is the offer letter, and as I mentioned before in the previous video, for all the information you guys were completing for the offer letter, here's where all the information will be populating. The vast majority of the information is just a selection. You guys select the cost center and all the information right in here. The only thing that you guys kind of type and do the math for is the overtime rate, and that will be populated right in there too. So this is the new structure for the offer letter, but it's basically the same information as it was before. It's just a little bit more in a kind of spreadsheet or table format instead. Once again, with my password, and I will submit. And we're pretty much almost done. We got 2 more acknowledgements forms to go for. All right. So basically, you know you have finished as soon as you see that here in your to-do list is a 0. That means you, as the employee, have completed all the paperwork they need to complete. One thing that you would like to do possibly from here is kind of grab your background authorization to send it out. And the way you can do it is pretty simple. You can just go here and kind of click it, and you can download the PDF version of it, and you will see it in there. You can save it and then send it to Vision as normally you would do. And basically that's all you have to do. And you can just grab it from here, or in a future video I will show you guys how to pull it from another way. But if you want to do it on this step, I will recommend it only because you guys are right there, and it just saves you one more step. But basically that's it. All the paperwork is completed. You don't have anything else on your to-do list. So from the employee side, this is all you have to do. And I will be following up with another video on how to show you guys how to complete the second portion of the I-9. And once that video is completed, it will be uploaded as well. So thank you.